Charlie James Kirk was born on October 14, 1993, in Arlington Heights, Illinois, and grew up in Prospect Heights, a comfortable, unassuming suburb north of Chicago. His father was an architect, disciplined, deliberate, a man of structure and design. His mother, a homemaker, brought warmth and faith to the household, making sure her children were grounded in Christian values. From a young age, Charlie stood out. He wasn't the tallest or the most athletic, but he had a voice, one that carried in classrooms and family dinners alike. Where other children preferred games, he preferred arguments. Teachers noticed that he relished debate, often raising his hand not just to answer but to challenge. In the Kirk household, conversations about current events weren't unusual. Charlie absorbed them all. By middle school, he was already reading political blogs and listening to conservative talk radio. He had the curiosity of someone who wanted to understand the mechanics of the world, and the confidence, sometimes brash, sometimes precocious, to explain those mechanics back to anyone who would listen. As adolescence set in, so too did ambition. While many of his peers were mapping out college majors or dreaming of sports scholarships, Charlie was already thinking about politics. He saw government not as something distant in Washington, but as a living force that shaped daily life, and one that needed strong voices to defend freedom. By high school, Charlie's fascination with politics had become a calling. At Wheeling High School, he joined student organizations, wrote opinion pieces, and spoke out on conservative causes. It wasn't always easy. Suburban Chicago was not the friendliest ground for conservative politics, but that only sharpened his determination. In 2010, when he was just 17, he earned an internship on the campaign of Illinois Senate candidate Mark Kirk. Though unrelated, the shared surname created a story he carried with him for years. For Charlie, that internship was more than a resume line. It was his first taste of real politics. He learned the rhythms of campaigning, the door-to-door work, the late nights, the endless conversations with voters. It convinced him that politics was not just a game for elites in Washington. It was something anyone could enter with enough drive. At the same time, he began contributing articles to Breitbart, the rising conservative media outlet that gave young voices a platform. Writing sharpened his arguments and gave him confidence that his words could reach beyond his school or his neighborhood. By his senior year, it was clear to everyone who knew him. Charlie Kirk was not destined for a quiet, ordinary life. College brochures came and went, but Charlie's mind was elsewhere. He was looking for a bigger stage, something that would allow him not just to learn about politics but to shape it. The year 2012 was a turning point. Charlie was 18, restless, and unsure of whether college was truly his path. Like most of his peers, he sent out applications, toured campuses, and weighed options. But as he considered the traditional route, something inside him balked. Sitting in lecture halls, taking notes, waiting 4 years for a diploma, it felt too small, too slow, too predictable. That summer, he traveled to Tampa, Florida, for the Republican National Convention. He wasn't a delegate or a power player, just a teenager with big ideas. Yet he found himself on a youth panel, speaking about the importance of reaching the next generation. Under the hot stage lights, looking out at a sea of delegates and party officials, Charlie caught a glimpse of the future he craved. Not a future of sitting quietly in a classroom, but one where his words could move crowds, shape conversations, and change minds. Around that time, he crossed paths with Bill Montgomery, a retired marketing executive in his 70s who shared Charlie's conviction that young people were the key to America's future. Over cups of coffee and long conversations, Montgomery encouraged Charlie to think big. Why wait until after college to make a difference? Why not start now? Together, they founded Turning Point USA, TPUSA, in the fall of 2012. The mission was simple, if ambitious, to organize conservative students, to promote the values of free markets and limited government, and to provide a counterweight to what they saw as the liberal dominance of higher education. For most of his early career, Charlie Kirk's life was all politics, all the time. From his teenage years until his mid-20s, he poured himself into building Turning Point USA. Traveling non-stop, speaking on campuses, and hustling behind the microphone left little room for romance. That began to change in 2018, when a chance meeting altered his path in ways even he didn't expect. In New York City, Charlie met Erica Frantsev. She was more than just a former beauty queen, though she had indeed been crowned Miss Arizona USA 2012. She was ambitious, faith-driven, and deeply engaged in causes of her own, including a nonprofit and a podcast centered on Christian living. Their first date, at a modest burger joint in the city, was hardly glamorous. But as they sat across the table, sharing conversation over simple food, Charlie felt something unusual: clarity. Later, he would recall that he knew almost immediately she was the one. By December 2020, amid the turbulence of the presidential election, Charlie decided to take the next step. He proposed to Erica, and she said yes. For a man who had spent years on stages and in the media, this moment was personal, private, and tender. A reminder that even in the thick of politics, life's deepest commitments happen far from the cameras. On May 8, 2021, Charlie and Erica were married in Scottsdale, Arizona. The ceremony was deliberately intimate. No bridesmaids, no groomsmen, just close family and friends. For all of Charlie's public battles and the roaring crowds he was used to addressing, this was the opposite: quiet, sacred, grounded in vows and faith. In the years that followed, their family began to grow. In August 2022, they welcomed their first child, a daughter. Less than 2 years later, in May 2024, they had a son. Though Charlie lived a very public life, the couple made the conscious decision to keep much of their children's lives private, rarely sharing their names or faces on social media. Their home life, anchored in faith, became the counterbalance to Charlie's intense political and media career. To those watching from the outside, Charlie and Erica's marriage seemed to embody the values they often spoke about: intentional love, shared purpose, faith at the center, and family first. For Charlie, whose 20s were defined by ambition and controversy, his 30s began with something more enduring: a wife and children who grounded him in ways no campaign or speech ever could. In 2025, Charlie Kirk was not only a political activist but also a husband and father. At 31, he and his wife Erica Frantsev were building a young family together. Their daughter, born in 2022, was now a lively 3-year-old, curious, playful, and always keeping her parents on their toes. Their son, born in 2024, was still a baby, discovering the world one smile at a time. Home life was full of the little moments that mattered most: bedtime stories, family prayers, laughter around the table, and the simple chaos of raising 2 small children. Erica devoted much of her time to motherhood while continuing her Christian projects, and Charlie often said she was the heart of their home. For Charlie, fatherhood reshaped his perspective. When he spoke about America's future or the next generation, it wasn't just political talk anymore, it was personal, because his children were that future. Though he still traveled for speeches and hosted his podcast daily, he made family his priority whenever he was home. Sundays were especially meaningful. Faith had always been central to Charlie and Erica's lives, and in 2025, church and prayer became traditions they were eager to pass down to their children. In public, Charlie remained fiery and outspoken. But in private, he was learning the quieter, steadier work of being a husband and a dad. To him, 2025 was not just another year in politics. It was a year of growing as a family man.
Do you like your cot?
Love the cot. I have a great wife. You should meet her sometimes.
Did she come in clutch getting you a memory foam?
Everyone comes in, they can't believe it. Because I'm actually like, hello. I'm just calling shots from here.
Enjoy it, baby.
I love you. I love you. I know.
I love you.
I love you so much.
I love you.
God bless you.
I love you.
I love you too.
you.
I love you too.